Yo, Step Backs and Touchdowns, what's going on? It's your boy Antonio, and we've got another fight to talk about, man. Fighting in 2023 has been a big year, and it just continues to get better as we're in the later end of 2023. We still got excellent boxing fights. Um, in December, we've got Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis for the 140 belt. We got Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou in October, and it's just been announced that Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk have come to an agreement to fight for the undisputed championship at the heavyweight division. We got Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos in November. We've got many big boxing fights, but today we're gonna talk about the one that's about to happen. We're going undisputed versus undisputed. The Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo for the undisputed belts at 168. Now, Charlo is undisputed at 154. He's dropping those belts to become undisputed in two weight classes up at 168 for Canelo Alvarez's undisputed championships. This is going to be a big fight, a big, huge fight. But before we get to that fight, I do want to encourage people to watch the undercard for this fight because we got three good fights. We got your Dennis Ugas coming back from his eye injury versus Errol Spence. We got Erickson Lubin, who was supposed to be a major guy in this division, but he did lose to Jermell Charlo when he got his opportunity, so that kind of knocked him down the rankings. But we're gonna see what he can do. And the one I really want to watch, the debut of Kermel Moton. Now, if you guys don't know who Kermel Moton is, he's a young guy. I think he's about 18, 19 now. We've known about him since he was about 14, 15. He signed to Floyd Mayweather, and he's supposed to be the next big thing of boxing. So if you guys want to keep up with the sport of boxing and the future of boxing, watch this fight. It's his pro debut. He's very good. He was good in the amateurs, great in the amateurs actually, and he's under the wing of Floyd Money Mayweather. And you guys know Tank Davis is under the wing of Floyd Money Mayweather, and we see what he's grown to be. So I encourage you guys to watch the undercard and watch that fight. Now, moving on to the big picture, we got Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo, right? We're gonna go down the resumes. We're gonna give my thoughts on both fighters, and then I'm gonna tell you guys who I think is gonna win and why I think they're gonna win. Now, first, we're gonna go through Canelo Alvarez's. This is a long day resume, guys. He's got the best resume of boxing and one of the best resumes in the past couple years. Now, he is 59, 2-2 with 39 knockouts. He's a four-weight class world champion. He's a 33-year-old orthodox fighter, and he's undisputed at 168, man. And I'm gonna go over his wins just to give you guys a look at who he's beat. When he was 21 years old, he beat Sugar Shane Mosley. When he was 23 years old, he beat Austin Trout. 25, he beat Miguel Cotto. Then he took on Amir Khan, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Triple G, beat him twice, had to draw with him once. Sergey Kovalev, Caleb Smith, and Caleb Plant. That's a lot of victories right there, and that's not even all of them. Those are just the more notable ones. And the two losses he had, can you guys like discredit this one? Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's undefeated, and he fought him when he was 23 and went down to fight him. So he lost to Floyd Mayweather, and then he just had a recent loss to Dimitri Bivol. He moved up to 175 for that fight. And there's a lot of things with that fight. But he's gone 9 years with no losses. His first loss was in 2013. His last loss was in 2022. And the last fight he had was May of this year versus John Ryder, in which he won that one pretty easily. Now we're gonna go over Jermell Charlo's resume. He's 35 1-1 with 19 knockouts. He's a 33-year-old orthodox. He was undisputed at 154. He has notable wins against Erickson Lubin, Austin Trout, Tony Harrison, who he lost to, but beat him again to regain his belt. Rosario and Brian Castano. But his only loss, like I said, was against Tony Harrison. His last fight was in March of 2022 versus Brian Castano, who he had a draw against the first time to make the undisputed belts work. He had a draw, and then the second time he fought, he got the undisputed belts. Now I'm going to give my thoughts on each fighter, and then after that I'm going to go into my prediction and tell you guys what to look for and why. Now, Jermell Charlo, he has a decent jab, but he doesn't use it as often as he should, man. He has a decent jab. It's got good power, it's got good snap on it, but he doesn't use it as often as I would like him to. In the Austin Trout fight, he was vulnerable to body shots, He's very over anxious when there's no activity in the pocket. He's gonna try to make activity happen after a short period of time. And when he does that, he stays and he lunges, um, and he's very like over anxious is a good word, but he's gonna stay on you and give you constant pressure in a way that is gonna hurt him in this Canelo fight. He like I said, he likes to flurry off. He loves a good uppercut, a right uppercut. Watch for the right uppercut against Canelo tonight. And he's got a powerful right hand, and that right hand is powerful. Any shot really with that right hand is lethal. He's a lethal puncher. He doesn't punch to the body much, but when he does, it's effective. He doesn't have really good head movement. A lot of commentators, they like to talk about his defense. I don't really see defense when I see him fight. I think it's overrated. But he has decent defense, but it's not as good as the commentators make it. His head movement is non-existent. He's just good at parrying shots and deflecting shots, but he will let the body get hit. He's got a decent double jab that he used against Tony Harrison in the first fight and the second fight. But he loves to punch wide. His punches come very wide. They're not really straight. They're very wide. And when he doesn't land, he struggles and he gets impatient when he doesn't land, and he gets frustrated. He's not the best counter puncher to me, but he is a counter puncher. And like I said, he's a cautious, but he's a deadly puncher, right? He's patient until he's not. When he gets in the pocket and there's no activity, you're not forcing the pressure to him, he's gonna make the pressure come. But when he was fighting Brian Castano was bringing the pressure to him. Right, and that's why the draw happened in the first fight. I think he won that fight. I think Charlo lost that fight. But in the second fight, he won. He got the knockout. But he's not good on the ropes. When you get him on the ropes like Castaño did, it's going to be constant pressure all day from the opposition, and he doesn't really know how to handle that. He gets too aggressive when that happens, and he's going to get caught by shots against Canelo too if that happens. Now I'm gonna give you my thoughts on Canelo, and then I'm gonna give just strictly the fight. Canelo in the recent fights that I've watched, the last 4 fights that he's had very much trouble with the jab against Billy Joe Sanders, against Caleb Plant, against Dimitri Bivol. He's had trouble with that jab, and that southpaw jab with Billy Joe really got him. Jermell Charlo's not gonna fight southpaw, but that's one thing I really noticed. That jab has been giving him trouble. But Canelo, that left hook of Canelo, both to the body and the head. The best thing about Canelo is that left hook, you don't know if it's going to the head or the body because it looks the same way. He's a front foot fighter that will walk you down and is going to walk you down. He's great at cornering opponents. That left hand is fast and is vicious. And he's dangerous when comfortable. If you let Canelo get comfortable, it's going to be a bad night for you. He's a heavy puncher. Those shots are very heavy. If you just sit there and watch him fight, man, those shots are coming in heavy, but they're also fast. It's a deadly combination. And he catches you coming in, or you're coming in with the same shots, he's gonna catch you. But the thing is, you can beat Canelo if you're active. He struggles with the slick boxers, the patient slick boxers that move around, use head movement, use the ring. Those are the type of guys that beat Canelo Alvarez, man. And the thing about Canelo is, in the clinch, he's gonna sneak some shots in, and there's some hard shots. He's gonna sneak them in, man. He's gonna sneak them in though. But Charlo does a good job of taking those punches when in the clinch and things like that. Another thing about Charlo is he has good stamina, and he can take those punches. Much like Canelo, they both can take punches, but it's different for Charlo because he's taking a year off in the ring, so we don't know how he's gonna look or anything. And Canelo had a torn cartilage in his left wrist ever since the Triple G fight, the third Triple G fight, and he's dealt with it, the Caleb Plant fight and the Dimitri Bivol fight. So we don't know how Canelo looked pretty iffy. It wasn't the Canelo we were used to in those fights. And he says he's healthy, but we really never know with these fighters, man. They say a lot of things. We just have to see for ourselves when they come in the ring. But now I'm going to give my prediction on the fight and who I think is going to win and why. Now, this fight is not 50-50. The last couple of fights we had, I've said were 50-50, 55, 45, 60, 40, whatever. With the Inoue Fulton fight, with the Spence Crawford fight, and the Usyk Dubois fight, I didn't say was 50-50 either. This fight right here isn't 50-50 to me, man. It's just really not. It's more 70-30, 65-45-ish range. Or not 45. 65-35-ish range. And I got Canelo, man. I got Canelo not by knockout. I got him by unanimous decision, man. And the reason for that is to beat Canelo, the blueprint. Once you beat a fighter, you use that blueprint and you see what the fighter did. To beat Canelo, you have to control distance. You have to be defensive while also active. You have to have a good jab, and you have to use his aggressiveness against you. And that's not what Charlo's gonna do, man. Charlo is gonna get walked down. He's gonna be against the ropes. He's gonna be over aggressive. Canelo's gonna take that and get right back into it, walk him down, get him in the ropes, much like Castaño did to him. I don't see Charlo winning this fight at all. But if he does win this fight, it's going to be due to that right hand. It's going to be due to that right hand. And it's going to be in like the 8th or 9th when Canelo starts to slow down in the later rounds. Because he doesn't have the stamina that Jermell Charlo has. Jermall Charlo, he actually gets better as the fight goes on, man. But yeah, Canelo's going to walk him down with those powerful shots. And they're going to land because his punches land against Jermell Charlo. As you can see in the Tony Harrison and in the Brian Castaño fight. Yeah, I got Canelo, man. Canelo might get him by knockout in the later rounds. It's not gonna be an early round knockout either way. But I got him by unanimous decision, man. I think all 3 judges are gonna be in agreement that this is gonna be a unanimous decision. And I see more like 8-4 Canelo or 9-3 Canelo, maybe a 7-5, but that's around the range, man. I got Canelo dominating this fight, man. And it's hard to beat Canelo to the judges, man. So I got Canelo. But I can see Jermell Charlo getting a knockout victory. It's a slight chance, though, man. This is Canelo Alvarez we're talking about. This is the face of boxing, him and Tank Davis. I just don't see you having this inactivity, not fighting in a year, and coming in and beating the best fighter of the last 10 years. I just don't see it, man. But if he does, man, hats off to Jermell Charlo. We have to talk about him in the pound for pound top 5 best fighters rankings. And also, I will be doing my top 10 pound for pound rankings in boxing soon, because I've been seeing a lot of people giving their list. I think it's time for me to give my list, as I've been an accurate predictor in fights, and I feel like I have watched enough boxing and have enough knowledge of boxing to give my top 10 pound for pound boxers. But yeah, let me know who you guys think will win this fight, who you guys got in the fight. I'll be rooting for Canelo personally. But that didn't alter my opinion. Canelo Alvarez is just a different monster that Jermell Charlo hasn't fought, man. Canelo's been in there with the best, Jermell hasn't. So it's just as simple as that. I got Canelo Alvarez. Let me guys know down below who you guys got, who you're rooting for. And if you think I'm right or wrong, or come back after the fight and let me know if I'm right or wrong. But yeah, share this to everyone. Comment, like, subscribe, do all you guys can. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Step backs and touchdowns. We out.